All right, welcome back to Getting Money Through Short-Term Rentals. I'm your girl, Venetia Brown, your short-term rental plug. All right, so I know we have been talking about all things short-term rentals and how to get you started and all the wonderful ways to go ahead and make some money. But I know y'all like, but she ain't telling us about what I seen on Instagram when they had that party and they be doing all type of stuff in the units, and then what if this happens? We're going to talk about it. So I'm going to give y'all a transparent moment, right? So my very, very first unit, it was a 2-bedroom apartment. There was this guy that rented it. He says, hey, me and my buddy are just gonna come for the weekend. We're businessmen and we're just coming for the weekend to come and have a good time. All right, cool. All right, come and stay. I approve this stay. But this is early on, early on, right? And this is when I was scaling ridiculously fast on my broken system. I wasn't paying attention to the Ring doorbell. I wasn't, doing the things that I was supposed to do. Long story short, by time my cleaner got in there to go and clean, she called me like, you're going to have to pay me double or I'm not doing this. Like, I'm just not cleaning this. And I'm like, well, what the heck? What happened? Like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? She's like, I'm not cleaning this. You need to come and look at this. Like, sending you pictures won't even do it justice. So I said, okay, don't clean the unit today. I'll be there tomorrow. I get to the unit and I walk in and they had an orgy in my Airbnb. They had condom wrappers, used condoms on the couch, on the counter. The chairs from the kitchen was in the bathroom. A young lady ended up, getting her menstrual on my sheets. Okay, so if she quit on me, that means I'm going to have to clean it. So I'm going to have to pay her double. Then I go looking around, obviously. I go look at everything else. And then I had like, what those things is called? Ottomans. I had an ottoman that was missing. There was stuff that was missing. It wasn't like major, but it was just, there was food everywhere. It was like, they were like eating and like, doing their thing at the same time or something. I don't know. There were multiple keyword used condoms and wrappers in different rooms, but it was everywhere. Listen, I'm not judging. It just was like, y'all couldn't throw it in the trash can that I have right here. Like, I'm all for a good time. Please don't get me wrong. Like, of course, obviously I wouldn't want the mess in my house. Like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this to somebody else's, but clean up, like something. Listen, it was just a scene that I wasn't prepared for as a new host. And because at the time I wasn't paying attention to the Ring doorbell. Yeah, I had it, but I really didn't, I didn't understand the importance of it. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't see everybody coming in where I could have nipped that in the bud long before it happened. I had to pay my cleaner double, but of course I charged it to the guests. And then of course explaining it to Airbnb was like, that in itself was like a whole task. But I can't really say it was like a horror story. It was one of those things like, okay, you know what? I need to start paying attention to this Ring doorbell. Why do I have it if I'm not going to pay attention to it? It was just a scene that I really rather not have taken part in. And then, not to mention the smell. I had to get like a ozone, like with the ozone kind of like air cleaner things where I had to clean the air. I was just kind of mortified by the whole situation. It was just like, how did all y'all stay in here and like do and like nobody felt like their nose was burning? Like nobody stopped and was like, let's open a window. Let's turn the air conditioner on. Nothing. But honestly, I mean, those type of situations typically I wouldn't say happen, but if in the event that they do, charge it to the guests. You got 72 hours to contact Airbnb and let them know that you had an extra cleaning fee. Make sure you take pictures and make sure whenever your cleaner enters into the property, tell your cleaner take pictures when she enters and tell her to take pictures after she clean. You could charge it as an additional cleaning fee so that you can justify it. But it goes back to what I was saying, having these things in place, making sure your Ring doorbell is up, and obviously you got to pay attention to it. And you can minimize the damage. If I was paying attention to my Ring doorbell, honestly, I would have caught the fact that I seen 7 people come in when the booking was only for 3 people. I would have known then. So that was my bad. So another time, I was so excited when I got this unit. This one breaks my heart because I was so excited when I got this unit. So this unit was my very, very first like townhouse bossed out unit. Like, right, I was smelling myself. I was sending all my pictures to like my friends and stuff. And I was like, yo, look at this rooftop patio. This junk is mad bomb. This junk is dope. Oh, I'm about to kill him with this one. Like, I'm about to make crazy money. Granted, I was. Now, that particular unit, I actually was like making probably like 10 grand a month on that unit. And the rent was only like $3,000. You do the math, right? So I had this group of girls and they were booking. And she was like, hey, we're coming in to like celebrate my birthday. And, you know, me and all my friends, because we live in different places, we're all linking up and it's a girls trip. I was like, all right, cool, right? They came and trying to be a great host and add to it. And because, like I said, it was my first unit, this was like, I was revamping my avatar. Remember what we talked about, knowing who you wanted to serve. So my first unit, that was my everyday traveler. And you see what I got, right? Then I said, all right, I'm going to the luxury space. I'm out of here. So I'm going to do the luxury clients. So this unit was bossed out. The girls get there. I seen them come in on the Ring doorbell. Everything was good. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I keep getting alerts. Like my phone is going off. Like, you know, I have, you know, the Minute device set. I got the Ring doorbell set. I got all those things set. So the devices are going off and alerting me. I put the live on the Ring doorbell. These girls is in the street brawling. Like when I say like brawling, like they was taxing homegirl. Like I was kind of watching it. Like I was mortified and all right, so I had a couple emotions was going on, right? Mind you, it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm mad that I'm even woke. So now I'm kind of like a little teed off that I'm up and I have to, like, they you know what I'm saying? I got to watch this. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, duck. Shoo! Did they just drag her? It was bad. It was real bad. So the fight ended up ending. Obviously, a neighbor called the cops. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's loud outside. It's a residential area. They call the cops, right? So the cop come and he rings the Ring doorbell. I see him on the camera, and I let him know, like, hey, you know, I'm the host and I'm on the way or whatever. But in the meantime, by the time they ended up getting there, the next door neighbor, you know, he was really trying to help me out. God bless his heart. God bless you, Richie. Thank you, Richie. He brings the girls into the house and he's like, you know, come in the house and, you know, to minimize the sound outside. Because they were like, when I say they were tearing them streets up, boy, they were tearing them streets up. He brings them in the house to kind of like, you know, make sure none of the other neighbors is going crazy. Don't you know these girls start beating each other up again in his house? Like in his living room while he's trying to give them safe haven from getting arrested. They start beating each other up in this man's house. So I'm on the way down. By the time I actually get down, and at this time, this is when porters and runners come in, okay? Once again, like I said, I scaled very quickly on a broken system. This is another one of those broken times. Now, I learned my lesson with the Ring doorbell and paying attention to it, right? But at this time, I was like, I could do it by myself. I could do this. But I lived 45 minutes away from my location. I didn't have a porter or a runner. I didn't have a porter and a runner. So it took me, you know, some time to wake up, get dressed. So by the time I actually got there, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I had to have the police escort the girls out immediately. That was my very first and only time, obviously, because lesson is learned. Systems are in place. I had to make my guests leave immediately. Pack up and go. Like, y'all got to get out. Y'all got to get up out of here. Get your stuff. I hope you're okay. Here you go, baby girl. Whose wig is this? There's some lashes over it. It was everywhere. When I say they tore my house up, they tore my house up. Jeans, shirts, wigs, lashes, earring, glasses, fingernails. It was everywhere. And to make it even worse, I got kicked out. So my landlord was like, not here. You're not doing that. No, ma'am. You told me that you actually have this. You have a business structure. We can't do this. And I got kicked out. So I lost my security deposit, of course, because they destroyed everything in the house. I lost my security deposit, but because I had short-term rental insurance, not renter's insurance, my furniture and the things that they broke was covered. Not to mention, it just was really a bad look, honestly. Like, I got kicked out and I was kind of embarrassed. Yeah, I was pissed off. That's really what I was. And I lost probably a good 10 grand in that deal. I'm still a little bitter about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm still a little bitter. So every time I kind of get like requests with like groups of girls, like, we're coming for a girls' weekend, I kind of get in my feelings a little bit. But like I said, this was when I was operating on a broken system. Since then, obviously, I got it together. And I didn't even have a minute device then either. So I couldn't even tell the noise level. I didn't have anything. Only thing I had was a Ring doorbell. And that did nothing because I didn't have a porter. I wanted to do it by myself because I wanted to make all the money. And then that didn't do anything for me because it took me over, an hour or two to get there. And then by then, 2 fights didn't happen. The police is there. And I ultimately got evicted. So it's lesson learned for me because I know better now. And honestly, I'm really giving y'all the game on how to avoid everything that I went through. Like I said, I scaled very quickly on a broken system and I didn't have things in place. So the things that I'm telling you guys will help you avoid some of those things. No, I'm not saying you won't deal with a bad guest. No, I'm not saying none of these things will never, ever happen. But when you have proper systems in place and proper processes, it will minimize those things. I was the person that wanted all the money for myself and I wanted to do it by myself and I wanted to get it quickly instead of get it the right way. So lesson is absolutely learned. Pay attention to my Ring doorbell. Use it because it's up there. And make sure you have a system in place. This is actually later in the game. This is actually pretty recently. What month is this in? We in 2022? It happened this year. I had a guest and she messaged me and she's like, hey, I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm in a current Airbnb. It's dirty and my 2 youngest children, this isn't safe and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, I would be happy to host you and your family. She was going to stay for a minimum of 30 days with potentially 60 days. But the caveat to that was that I was offering her to help her find a house because that was another thing. She wanted to find a house to purchase. And I told you I'm a realtor. So I was like, I'll give myself a little plug. Like, I'll help you find a place. Okay, cool. You can come and stay here. Cool. She checks in, right? She checks in and 24 hours later. But mind you, during that 24 hours, we have messaged each other a couple of times because she wanted like a light bulb changed and something else. I get a message from Airbnb saying that your guest has submitted an insurance claim of unsafe housing. I was like, what's unsafe? Like, what's unsafe? So I immediately contact her. I didn't call. I purposely wrote her on the app so that there's a record. I'll write her. And, well, mind you, Airbnb told me what happened. Airbnb told me that her claim was that she fell in our master bathroom shower and she hurt herself and she was bleeding and she had to get rushed to the hospital. So before I even did anything else, obviously I contacted the guest and said, hey, I hope that everything is okay. Airbnb just contacted me. I am so sorry that this has happened to you. Let me know, what's an update or whatever. Just, like a general nice, just you want to not immediately think that a guest is trying to play with you. So after I send her that message, I go to look at the Ring doorbell to kind of go look at the timeline of events. I'm looking for the EMTs. You know what I'm saying? Homegirl walking out on my Ring doorbell with a basket of clothes or like whatever's in it. And then she has like her hand with her like 2-year-old or 3-year-old. So she got a basket in one hand, 9-month belly, and then a kid in the other hand. She looks pretty capable of me. Like, what's going on? So now I'm like, okay, she didn't get rushed out. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I want to make sure you're okay. Airbnb said that you had got rushed to the hospital. Did the EMTs come and get you? Did you get rushed? And she's like, yeah. Like when I say she laid it on thick, she laid it on thick. She laid it on real thick. But I'm glad that I messaged her versus called her, because this is what saved me. She said she got rushed to the hospital. Obviously, I have the Ring doorbell that shows otherwise. Long story short, what I believe she was trying to do was, she was 9 months pregnant and she was getting ready to deliver. She did not have money to have this baby or insurance in place or whatever it was that she needed. And the insurance claim that she filed on us was ultimately going to pay for homegirl birth. So I was about to pay for somebody to have a baby. That baby ain't mine. Why I gotta pay for it? But that goes back to having the proper insurances in place. So if you had eRenters and Lemonade as a personal insurance, she really could have sued us, and like Airbnb really, like, honestly, I actually just got done with that case. Like, I had to shut my unit down for 3 months until the investigation was done. So I lost revenue on that unit that I was making $7,000 a month at for 3 months. That is $21,000. I lost that dealing with this guest and their scheme, scandal, whatever you want to call it. But because the insurance we had in place, it covered us. We ended up getting the money back after, a couple of months of fighting. But if we didn't have those insurances in place, we would have gotten nothing and would actually cost us. And we just would have been SOL. So those are just a few of my stories. Honestly, we've all watched on Instagram or social media where we've seen like ridiculous horror stories. Like, I don't know if y'all seen the one in Dallas when they had a party and they went crazy. I haven't experienced that personally, but I don't want you to get scared of all of these what ifs and like if somebody does something. Like any investment and like anything else that you do, there's always risk involved. But that's why being structured properly, having proper systems in place, and having the proper team in place help you minimize a lot of these things. And the things that I've talked to you about and kept reiterating, they are important because they help you minimize these things. Now, I know some of you guys may be like, well, yeah, those may not be so bad. She didn't experience, I heard this on the internet, and yeah, this probably are, much worse horror stories. I'm pretty sure that there are. But when you got systems in place and you are automating things and you're paying attention, you can minimize a lot of these things. I will never tell you that none of these things will happen to you because you have a system and all that good stuff. But just trust in the process. With that said, I'm your girl, Venetia Brown. And again, you can always find me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn as Venetia Brown. Click the link in my bios and you can check out my book, and I will see you in the next module.